Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. We've got a pro replay here between Ascending and Ourk. Pretty sure I've cast these guys once or twice in the past. Regardless, a little bit of go for SC2 action, a protoss versus a Terran on this funky map, which I've not committed to memory what it is called here. I don't think I've seen a cool. They put in those new little patch pieces where you can kind of brand things up a little better. I might have to do that. Get myself a little SeKo Starcraft emblems when I'm playing. They'll show up a little more. I haven't made myself a clan yet, just because I really haven't associated with anything. Maybe I'll consider doing that just for the close followers of the SeKo Starcraft to get down on. We can go and tear it up in whatever lame way we want. Pylon in the base. No cheese as of yet. And I don't like thinking that every game is going to have cheese, but it's just so common that at least something funky happens. I don't know, you just want to take those easy wins. Cheeses are one of those things that I've really removed from my game quite well. It was something I used to throw in quite a bit just to have a bit of fun in there. But unfortunately, I just don't have my cheeses very well designed. So in a lot of cases, you'd go for some like an 11-11 Rax or a Proxy Reaper. But then you don't really know how to transition out of it, because sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't, and if you don't know how to really transition out of it, you just kind of get stomped. And you see the Terran doing a quick little scout in his base to make sure there's nothing proxy happening. There's a lot of extra little nooks and crannies around this base that you can get away with a in-base 2-gate if you're not careful. Might be a Reaper coming out here as well, but sending an SCV and a Reaper a little bit, you know, repetitive. I don't think you really would need to do that. A little redundant to send out the double scout double. They run right through each other. And it is a Reaper. I'm sure this is more just to make sure you're not getting cheesed. So you can come in here and see that, yeah, it is a standard opening. We don't see the Cyber yet. Is that a bit of a... There we go. I thought, like, is that a delayed Cyber? Sometimes you get that Cyber on 17, slightly later, but you can have a little bit more probes out, so that should be just fine. So the unfortunate thing about the Cyber being slightly later is that the Reaper might actually be able to get in and get himself a kill. We'll see if that is the case. Nobody is in this gas. Looks like he got just enough gas to get down that Reaper and then pulled out of gas so he can get down to command center, and then he goes back into gas. I generally don't put that much micro into my economy, just because it's very easy to screw up somewhere along the way and have a bunch of workers follow another worker. So I generally stay away from that. No Zealot out. We'll Chrono Boost out a Stalker. Not the best micro there out of Ourk. Actually loses 2 probes already. And that's part of the danger if you do go for... Where'd the other those guys go? Got a 3rd kill. He's not going to be greedy, actually. He's going to take off after that. That is super successful. Getting 1 probe as a success is actually a great success. Really, you just want to scout what's going on. So managed to grab 3 probes with that 1 Reaper. It's pretty good. Looks like he was going to try to block this Nexus from going down. Unfortunately, he didn't start that engineering bay as soon as possible. I generally will put down that engineering bay even before I start my command center, just because I love... He's gonna get shot in the face, and it does. I love getting down the engineering bay block. That probe was not successful. He did come up here, and he should have seen, yeah, the timing of the command center, that it was nearly done. A bunker. And yeah, I don't know if he clicked on that being a factory, but that's a very logical choice. Robo, 1-gate Robo. This leaves you somewhat weak in the early game. I don't think that we're going to see any pressure here just because this command center is finished. I'm a huge fan of getting this 1 bunker at the front. I do this all the time. It's very, very easy to get run over by something really cheap and crappy. Just by a Protoss player. If you don't have this and you just got a couple Marines, a Zealot, Stalker, and a Mothership Core can just lay you to waste. You can always salvage it later for 75%. And you never know if you're going to go up against some sort of blink strategy. And that's what really is on the mind of most Terran players nowadays is this going to be some sort of 2-base blink play? And it looks like Ourk is planning for something a little bit more long game. Going to get those observers out, getting himself some upgrades started here pretty soon. The Terran should be pretty happy to not have his workers just pop out and do nothing. So I'm going to say that's kind of weird. Now that a tank is done, I'm sure taking the low ground should be fine for him. I do like a 2-tank and marine push. I think it can be very, very damaging to a protoss that overtechs in the beginning. If you come down here with a bunch of marines and some tanks, sometimes you can get in here and do a ton of damage. Photon overcharge, though, can outrange even... I'm pretty sure it outranges tanks, does it not? I don't know if it's going to tell me. Does not say if it does or not. Observer's going to come down here, see what's going on. One missile turret in the end. For this tournament, I don't care if my achievements are disabled. For this tournament, I don't know how many games they play. It might be just best of ones. And if that's the case, sometimes it's better to play safe. Have down the missile turrets, the walls, the defenses, and just kind of move into your natural late game progression. Is he going Mech? He is going Mech. Even if you're going Mech against Protoss, you do need that pile of Marines out in the beginning. Do you need those extra units, that damage, and particularly that anti-air in case you go up against some Oracles or maybe even a Void Ray. Doing a Mega Scout just to see if there's any pylons anywhere, but there isn't any on the map anywhere. Very surprising. That's kind of a tell to me as a caster that he doesn't really have intentions of going for a big push just yet. Might be interesting to go for an immortal push, but I think he's only got the 3 gateways up for right now. And he's got all the tech in place. So if he's left by ascending for another few minutes, he's going to have a lot of upgrades finished. Twilight Council might just be for him to get to his next level of upgrades, but it might also allow him to get to Blink, or maybe even some sort of Dark Templars. Third Command Center is already finishing up. I think this is really, really good for ascending, and I run into this problem sometimes when I'm playing against Protoss, like, well, I need more units. But if you're not going to get attacked for a while, and you're pretty confident of that, just get out a better economy. Keep yourself further in the lead. Stalkers clean up those scouting Marines. He sees that there isn't a third base. If I were to see a third Nexus, I'd feel a little uncomfortable. It looks like this is going to be the case now. Because a Protoss just harassed, untouched, which is what we're seeing right now, can just get up that perfect money mix and roll over a lot of things. This could be fun. And I do like seeing that at least the Protoss player is going for some sort of harass. If he comes in here, even hits a couple of supply depots, gets an SCV or two, just something to put the aggression back on the other side and make ascending uncomfortable will really help him, get a bit more of a lead. If we look at the economy right now, it's pretty even. With the mules, I'd say it's quite even. They're going to be making workers for a little while here still, and that third base is be going into a position. But this is not scouted yet. Looks like it should be able to drop. Great timing when a lot of the units are moving out. He is going to try to target down. Oh, he really wants to get this. But unfortunately... But no, I think he will. That's really sucky for the Terran, actually. There's no anti-air here to really deal with anything. Losing that attack upgrade is actually pretty bad, considering his opponent is already onto +2 weapons, because I'm sure it's done 1-1. Yeah, 1-1's finished, and we don't see any upgrades right now for the Mech army. Double armory. We'll try to do a desperation catch-up here. And it's not like he's in too big of a problem. If he keeps his defender's advantage, and the Protoss player, for whatever silly reason, decides to just run into it, he's going to be fine. It's just whether or not he can deal with this kind of harassment pressure, which is so good against a very immobile Terran army. Does have some units in position to see if something's coming at him, but it looks like they're quite content to just leave each other alone for a while. Ghost Academy. Cool. Maybe some nukes? Some nukes in our future? Everybody gets mad at me for putting, missile turrets all over my base, but even just for the sake of scouting, which I would assume that they should be putting some supply depots around here. It's actually pretty effective. I think if you have a tank as well would be pretty nice. There's nothing to really counter this Banshee. Man, that made sure work with that refinery. This one tank is going to get bum rushed and taken out. 1-1 is finally started now for Does he get the miracle repair? He is going to get the miracle repair. This is generally when, as a Protoss player, coming in the front with the rest of your army would have just probably ended the game. If you came in here with the rest of these units and just attacked, might have been able to bust right through this with some Archons and Immortals. Wouldn't have even been close. There we see some missile turrets going down now, finally. And just for peace of mind, right? You've got the good economy, you got 3 bases. What's really going to screw you up as a mech player? Somebody that can really get around behind your defenses. I like mixing in a Raven once in a while. This mech army is supplemented so well with a really strong air army. A little surprised we haven't seen Stargates come out of our Protoss player. If you do have the opportunity to get out Void Rays or something like that, you can just mow through this. But that being said, if a Terran is upgrading, which the upgrades here are a little bit late, that means that whatever air army the Terran transitions to will just roll over the Protoss. So it's a bit of a risk. Gets the scan, sees... What does he really see here? Well, he sees the Templar, sees the Chrono Boost on the upgrades. He is going to be fairly behind on the upgrades. Is it 2-1 right now? Well, 1-1's about to finish up. It will be a 3-1. Well, it's still 1-1 for the Terran. Looks like it's pushing time. I don't mind this. If you're getting over 160 supply, it's generally a decent enough time to go for a push. Not much for missile turrets, just a couple more to hopefully slow anything down. And this might get base tradey here. He sees the army. He's not turning around either. This Protoss army, there you go. It's kind of just running into a wall. Oh, Banshees. Is it cloak? There is no cloak, yeah. Siege up. Siege up. Siege up is in. Now this is really tough as the Protoss player. Hellbats are making pretty sure work of all of these Zealots they're trying to chase through. Nice warp in from behind though. That actually is going to be a clincher there. Might have had a bit more of a chance if these Zealots didn't warp in right on top of his army and kill the hell out of it. And now it's pretty much toast for the Terran player. It's so difficult to recover a big siege tank army. He's going to try his best. Better get into position. Don't think he's got cloak or anything like that, no. So, not going to do super well. Siege up. No siege up? There we go. Out come the SCVs. That's essentially going to die so fast to all these Archons in the back here. And, wow. Oh, there was a Warp Prism drop in the front. Pretty good play out of Ourk. I think ascending... I love going Mech against Protoss, but it's so tough. It's so positional, and you can't really make mistakes. Coming in here and sieging up right next to a warp-in point. It was such a great tight spot with the Hellbats in the front and the tanks. I liked it. Not quite perfect. So he ends up getting just rolled. SeKo Starcraft, thanks everybody for watching. I'll talk to you soon.